everybody. Welcome to piano today. I'm so glad that you could join me. I know it's been a long month of everybody waiting for the summer series to start, but here we are, and I'm very happy that you could join me. Okay, so a couple things to talk about before we begin. The first thing is if you can share this video, go ahead and do that. The bottom, I think it's left corner of your screen, you can hit that share button, okay? The second thing is if you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way we can keep up with lessons, especially if we happen to skip a live lesson. They're available on YouTube to watch anytime at your convenience, okay? The third thing is if you haven't joined the private Facebook group, I encourage you to do so. It is called Encore Music Makers, okay? That's where you get your one-on-one feedback from me. Every week I will post an assignment post, and then you get to post a video of yourself playing the song that was assigned to you for the week, and I can give you feedback, okay? And of course, the last thing here, this is new, okay? I have joined something called Patreon. And Patreon is basically an easy way for you to support me in my creative endeavors of bringing piano lessons to all on a more regular basis. I know for the last series I had done a bunch of one-time donations that I was pushing, but this time I'm going to encourage you to sign up as a patron on Patreon. And I have that information here. It'll be at the bottom of the screen. There it is. Yes. Patreon, okay? So, without further ado, we can go ahead and get started for our piano lesson today, kids, okay? So, the first thing I want to talk about is we have probably a couple things to review, right? If you have been keeping up with practice over this last month, then you are going to be very familiar with these terms, right? So we had learned two different positions for our hands at the piano, right? We had learned about middle C position, right? Do you remember me talking about the butterfly C position, right? Yeah, and then there's also C position, right? And we had our right hand thumb on middle C, and then we would count down 1, 2, 3 and put our left hand thumb on G below middle C. Do you remember that? Yeah, so those were the two positions that we had learned. We also learned different notes, right? So we learned about the quarter note. The quarter note gets one beat, right? Do you remember what it looks like? It's the black note, right? Let me see if I can find it for you. Yes. Okay, here it is. Yes, there's the quarter note, right? One beat. All right, so, and then the next note we learned was the half note, right? And that half note looks like this, and that one gets two beats, right? Yes, okay, you guys are super smart. All right, next we had the dotted half note, and the dotted half note gets 3 beats. Yeah, you're right, good job. And last but not least, we learned about the whole note, right? And if you remember, that one gets 4 beats. Wonderful. You guys are great. We also talked and learned about time signatures, right? Do you remember the time signature? Let me show you what it looks like. Do you remember one of these? Yeah, you find it at the beginning of your music, right? But those numbers have special meanings. So that top number 3, in this case, is telling you how many beats are going to be in each measure, right? And then the bottom number's telling you the kind of note that gets the beat, right? That's a really good review. All right, next, we talked about dynamics, right? So dynamics are like a big fancy word for like the volume that you play at, right? So we had piano, right? So we learned quiet playing when you see this symbol, right? So that's piano. Next, we learned about our favorite. Oh yes, this is a favorite one here. This one is forte. Yes, so forte playing is super fun because you get to play nice and loud, right? Are you remembering all these cool things? Can you believe you learned all this stuff? It's pretty amazing. Our other dynamic sign we learned was mezzo forte. Yeah. Do you know what this one meant? Medium loud, kind of like moderately loud. That's very good. All right, you guys are super duper smart. We also learned about rests. Do you remember what rests were? Yeah, rests are like beats of silence instead, right? I like the quarter rest because it kind of looks like a squiggle. It's kind of silly. See, there it is. So when you see one of those, it gets one beat of silence. Right? Nice and quiet. We also learned about our intervals, right? So we learned about melodic intervals. Those are measuring distance in music, each note of that interval played separately, right? And then we also learned harmonic intervals, right? And harmonic intervals is measuring distance when you play the notes at the same time. So we're going to go over that too. And last but not least, we also learned about slurred music, playing smoothly connected, and tied notes, where we add the values of the notes together, right? Whew. You guys learned a lot. Can you even like think about all that right now? That's like so much. I think you need to give yourself like a 1-second party for like doing that, right? So let's do it. 1 second party. 1 second party. Good job. Wow, you guys learned so much. But, you know, we gotta like learn some music now, right? Like you've had these songs for the last month. Let's go ahead and get some new stuff, okay? Let's do it. All right. So I'm gonna look here in my lesson book, okay? So if you have your lesson book, go ahead and pull that out. It's the one with the piano on the cover, okay? Very good. Now this one here, we're going to be starting on page 29, okay? 29. Let me show you what that page looks like. Yes! Do you see it? There's 2 songs on the one page. And we're going to be learning both of those songs today, okay? Wonderful. So, Old Uncle Bill is going to be the first song that we learn today, all right? And this one has some pretty cool stuff going on in it, okay? We have a blue box, and it has something called forte-piano, okay? And it looks kind of like forte minus piano. And it means that the first time you play this song, you're going to play it forte, okay? But then when you get to the repeat sign at the end, remember the repeat sign is a double bar with double dots. It bounces you back to the beginning, right? And on the repeat, you're going to play the second time piano, okay? It's going to be really, really cool. Okay, so for Old Uncle Bill, it looks like we're going to be in C position. We have 3/4 time as our time signature, okay? And I see a really big slur on that top line, huh? Same thing on the second line, so we're going to have to go over those, okay? So let me go ahead and switch to piano view here. And let's find our spot. We got to figure out where it is, right? Absolutely. So let's find our middle C to start. And that's where my right hand thumb goes, finger 1. My left hand, I'm going to count down from middle C, 1, 2, 3 notes. And that's where I'm going to put my left hand thumb, okay? So this is called your C position, okay? Now, this piece is going to be moderately fast, so it's not going to be super duper slow like turtles, and it's not going to be super cheetah fast like a cheetah. It's going to be kind of in the middle, okay? It's going to begin with your right hand, finger 5 on G, okay? And it looks like we're traveling down by thirds, okay? So that's also known as skips, okay? So you're going to start with your finger 5, skip down to E, skip again down to C, and then you go up to finger 4, F, okay? You answer with a left hand second, harmonic second, all right? Let's just play through Old Uncle Bill one time through and see what it sounds like, okay? I'm gonna count off. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. I'm going to say the note names. G, E, C, up to F, second, second. D, up to E, then F and G, third, third. G, E, C, up to F, fourth, fourth. F, E, D, C. Did you get through it? Did you manage to play through the whole thing, or was it a little bit tricky? It can get tricky, I know, like trying to remember like slurs and all of these different things here, it can get kind of confusing. But that's okay, that's what I'm here for, right? I'm here to help you get through those tricky spots, right? So we're gonna be able to go through the song in a matter of a way that we're able to keep those intervals in mind in the right hand, because there's a lot of really interesting intervals going on here. We've got thirds, we've got fourths, we even have seconds, right? That's like every kind of interval that we've learned. Now the left hand isn't as hard as the right hand. We have harmonic intervals, right? Which means that they're played at the same time. So that's not too bad. But let's go through it again so that we can play through that right hand section of this song without it being so hard. Okay? Let's give it a try. Let me switch. All right. So here we go. We're going to find our spot again. So there's that middle C. Okay? We're going to start with our right hand thumb on C and fan out that hand. We're going to count down from middle C, 1, 2, 3 notes, and there is my left hand thumb on G, okay? Now, this is where it gets interesting, okay? A series of thirds, and then a jump up a fourth in your right hand, all right? So let's see if we can go through it nice and slowly. I'm going to count off. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. G, down a third, up a fourth. Second, second, down a third, step, step, up to G, third. G, down a third, up a fourth, fourth. Now steps. F, E, D, C. Let's repeat it. G, down a third, up a fourth. Down a third, step, step, and G. Good. G, down a third, up a fourth. Same note. F, down a E, down the C. All right, so there you go. How did you feel about it that time? Was it a little bit better? Sorta, kinda. That's okay, yeah? When we're getting back into the groove of piano practice, it's important to like cut yourself a little bit of slack, right? So be easy on yourself. Playing piano is not easy. It takes work, right? So as you're practicing during this next week, make sure that you're kind to yourself, right? You don't want to make yourself feel bad because you keep getting a wrong note. That's not the way to do it. I'm a teacher and I still make mistakes, right? That's part of being a human, right? But that's the beauty of learning piano, is that you can always play it again, right? The more you practice, the better you get. Okay? So we're going to keep Old Uncle Bill for practice for this week, okay? Now, moving on, look at the song below it. We have Love Somebody, okay? Let me show you what it looks like. Love somebody, there it is. All right. How wonderful. So the cool thing about Love Somebody is we also have another blue box, okay? So in this blue box, it's talking about something called a whole rest, right? Do you remember what rests did? It's like beats of silence, right? Yeah, so a whole rest, it must be related to a whole note in a way, right? What do you think? Do you think it's related? Yeah, it very well could be. I think that it's really cool because it gives us like the opposite in a way of a whole note. So a whole note, 4 beats of a note, right? But then a whole rest, 4 beats of nothing, silence, right? So it's sort of taking the place of it, okay? It kind of looks like an upside down hat, right? Like a magician, they take off their top hat and they show it to you, right? And then it's like hanging at the bottom. That's kind of what this is like, okay? So if you see the upside down hat, it's 4 beats of silence, okay? All right. So now that we know that, we can see in Love Somebody, the song, that we do have some whole rests, right? I see one at the beginning there for the left-hand section. I see another one in measure 3. Yeah, and it happens 2 more times in that second line. That's pretty cool. All right, so I also see that new dynamic sign that we learned, right? The forte dash piano. First time forte, second time piano. So don't forget about that. And then I see that we're actually in 4/4 time this time, right? So 4 beats in the measure instead of 3 beats in the measure, okay? So let's see if we can play through Love Somebody. It also has slurs, so we got to be aware of that. Let's switch. Whee! There we go. All right, let's find our spot. We are here at middle C, okay? There's my right hand thumb, and I'm going to fan out my hand. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. And there's my left hand thumb on G below middle C. All right, if you found your spot, then you are ready to go. All right, we are going to start with a finger 1, right hand on middle C, and we are traveling up by thirds. Okay, and then we go down a 4th to D with a harmonic second, open it up to a 3rd, and open it up to a 4th. It sounds super cool. Let's see if you like the way it sounds. I'm going to play through Love Somebody one time, okay? 1, 2, ready, play. Awesome. Now a 4th, and a 3rd, and a 2nd. Awesome. Here we go. Keep going. C up to E, then G, G down to D, then E, then F. Now we go down to E, and D, D, and on a C with a 3rd. That was amazing. Let's repeat it. Oh, but it's piano this time. C up to E, then G, G down to D, E, then F. C up to E, up to G, G, then F, down to E, down to D. Now forte both times. Okay. C up to E, up to G, G, D, open E, open F, E, then D, D, and on a C, and C, and C. Hey, that was fun. I liked that one. What did you think about Love Somebody? Was it fun? Or was it like not that fun? It's okay if it wasn't that fun. I think as you get your practice going and you get more confident in your songs, it's going to get a little bit more fun, okay? I think probably the most fun part in this song is the dynamics, right? Because like they do something like interesting in this one. You start forte, right? And then on the repeat, you're piano. But then they surprise you on that second line. They're like, loud again. Kind of like scared myself there, huh? But that's okay. It was a surprise, right? Maybe they're just professing their love for somebody so much so they just can't be quiet about it. It's kind of silly. But anyway, that was super fun. Let's see if we can play through Love Somebody again. Perhaps focusing a little bit more on the harmonics in the left hand, because I know that can be tricky too. So let's try that, okay? Let's switch to piano view. All right. Okay, so when we get to those chords in the left hand, just make sure that we're being very, very precise with those seconds, thirds, and fourths. All right, let's find our spot. Here's my middle C. All right, I fan out my fingers, and then I start at middle C and I count down 1, 2, 3. And there's my left hand thumb. All right. Now we're going to begin Love Somebody and do it with the repeat, spending a little bit of extra attention on those harmonic chords in the left hand. Okay? So let's give that a try. I'm going to count off. 1, 2, ready, play. C, G, harmonic second, and then a third, and then a fourth. C, G, harmonic fourth, harmonic third, harmonic second. C, G, harmonic second, harmonic third, harmonic fourth. Very good. Down to D, harmonic third, third. Now let's repeat it. C, G, harmonic second, harmonic third, harmonic fourth. C, G, harmonic fourth, harmonic third, harmonic second. Okay, here's that surprise forte. C, G, harmonic second, harmonic third, harmonic fourth. D, harmonic third, third. Wow, now that was like so great. I really enjoyed that one. That one was super fun. Yeah, so like I'm kind of in the mood to do a cheer. What do you think? Do you want to do the classic jalapeno cheer? Let's do it, okay? Take a bite of your jalapeno. Wow, that was spicy. I think I want to eat another one. Let's do a habanero. That's even hotter. Let's get my habanero. There we go. That one was super hot. All right, well, we've had so much fun, haven't we? So those are going to be the 2 songs that you're going to practice for this week, okay, kids? I know getting back into the groove of piano practice can be tough, but that's okay. It's okay if it's hard. It's okay if it's tough. It's okay if it's frustrating, because that's part of it, right? And don't worry, I'm here to help you anyway. So if you have questions or if you get like stuck on something, you can always hop into the group and type out something like, Miss Izzy, I'm totally lost on this, or I need help on this harmonic interval or something. Don't worry, I'm right there to help you anyway. Okay? So that's it for your piano songs, okay? Now, pull out your theory book. You didn't think you were going to get theory today, did you? Surprise! All right, pull out your theory book. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so for theory for this week, don't worry, it's not a lot. I'm going to give you 1 page of theory, okay? So for this week's theory, we're going to do page 22, okay? 22. Go ahead and turn to page 22. It's all about whole rests, okay? You see that? It's 1 page, you guys. It's not a lot. But I think you can do it, all right? So page 22 is about whole rests. You're going to practice drawing some, and then you're going to practice counting with them, okay? So be aware of that on that page, all right? Okay, so something I did want to mention too. I need to maybe explain this a little bit better. Like I had mentioned in the past, at the beginning of this lesson, I am on a new platform for donations called Patreon, okay? Here's the web address if you need it. Okay, let me show you. It says support me on patreon.com/IzzyChia, okay? So, Patreon, like I mentioned before, is an easy way for you to automate your donations to me. I know in our last series we had done one-time donations like on PayPal and Venmo and Cash App, right? But this Patreon is an easy way to do that, right? So if you're used to sending me $5 a lesson, then you can sign up for the $20 level on Patreon. If you're used to sending me just $1, then sign up for the $5 level on Patreon. If you're used to sending me $20 a week or every other week, sign up for the $50 level. Each level gives you a little bit more control and interactivity with me. So if you happen to sign up for the $50 level, you actually, like you saw this morning, I had done, I sang happy birthday to 2 of my students who have signed up on that highest level on Patreon, because that is one of the perks of being a $50 level patron. So just go browse patreon.com/IzzyChia. See if one of those levels fits you and fits your budget. And I encourage you to sign up. It's an easy way to support me. That way you don't have to worry about remembering, oh my gosh, I didn't pay Miss Izzy. That's okay. And if you can't afford Patreon, that is okay too. That's part of this Patreon is people that can afford to pay me, they can. And then the people that cannot, they can still reap the benefits of having these lessons available. So it's sort of like just making sure it's accessible to all, regardless of if you can pay for it or not. So that's my mission, right? Bringing high quality piano instruction to everybody. Okay? Thank you so much for that. Now, I can't end the lesson without a music quote, right? This is like every lesson. So for today's music quote, we have a lovely quote from the English composer Frederick Delius. And this is what he says. Music is an outburst of the soul. That is so true, isn't it? When you really get into it, into your music or your piano practice, and you're feeling good about yourself, don't you just feel like you could burst with happiness? And imagine if you're like spreading that happiness to other people. Oh, it's so amazing. I mean, that's the idea of music anyway, is just to get you feeling really good, right? Thanks again for joining me. It's been a fun afternoon. Adults and teens, don't forget tomorrow is your lesson. So join me here back at 3 p.m. Central, live on the page. And kids, I'll see you Monday for practice with me. If you need extra help, sign in on Monday and I'll be here practicing with you, okay? Have a great, great weekend. I'll see you later.